Welcome to Toffee TV is the Daily Live. Just had a couple of little gremlins in the system there. Our computer wanted to identify as David Moyes' microphone for the first couple of minutes there. So, yeah.
I think with the micro, you put a little ping pong ball and then you do it and say, where is it? They had 3 mics. Was the trick David had to guess which one was live. So he had to move over to that one.
Listen, I'm sure
move over to this one.
I'm sure it was a great press conference. It's funny though, isn't it? Because how long have we moaned about not being able to hear the journalists?
Yeah.
And they were nice and clear, and yet you couldn't hear a word David Moyes was saying.
Maybe you can have one or the other.
It was tremendous.
You can hear the question or you can hear the answer. You can't have both without buying super premium or something. It was poor, wasn't it?
Which was just ended the night really well, didn't it? Really.
And we pay a shed load of money to a very world-renowned organisation who just say nothing to do with us.
Okay.
Don't they?
Yeah.
We don't mean Everton, we mean someone else.
Yeah. Not dated in there on.
No, it's just a very general thing.
So, well, it cost us money because we couldn't put a press conference out.
That's right.
Last night on YouTube.
Everton put it out though.
Everton put it out. Yeah.
Well, we had a quality control challenge. Was that half-1 this morning? We were having that chat, me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Peg went, no, we're not putting that out because the audio quality is so poor.
Oh,
we wouldn't do that to our audience.
No. Because we just get the stick.
Yeah, true.
People would just say it was us.
Yeah.
That just capped off the night, didn't it? That just capped. We sat here yesterday, me and James were having a chat yesterday, and there was a general feeling of people were worried about that game last night. And in your Everton head, in your Everton half of your head, you're like, yeah, there is a worry. But in the real world, Everton should have been absolutely fine last night. But yet, the players and the manager decided to use their Everton side of their brains, John.
I get, and particularly because Baz does, his preview period starts a lot sooner than mine, I guess. Maybe the minute the previous game's finished. I never worry about anything until I've seen the team. As soon as I saw the team, I was worried.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen how poor, particularly Dwight McNeil had been. And the idea he was starting again, I thought, well, he's going to get hooked at half-time or sooner then, isn't he? Now, he should have got hooked off at half-time or sooner. But because Wolves were so poor, then we were leading, and this manager is never going to change the team when things are going okay.
Yeah.
Clearly, part of what I guess he told those players at half-time was we should have this game put to bed by now, but we haven't. So keep it straight, keep it tight. They'll come out huffing and puffing. Then we reassert authority and we have a comfortable win. Except the last 2 bits didn't happen. Yeah.
No, I mean, again, I just don't know what we're trying to do. As in, like Tyler Diblin. Like, I know people, and he didn't have generally a good first half at the weekend, but I'd have left him on the pitch at the weekend because I just think it's growing pains, isn't it? It's part of the thing. And I'd have started him last night because the alternative is mind-boggling to me. As I said last night on my match reaction, player ratings, I'd do what happened in Moneyball, right? Angus Kinneary, I'd just pick up the phone and go and sell Dwight McNeil and say,
just do it.
It's done. And therefore, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You'll have to play someone. No, that kid we bought
you might have to play him.
You're going to have to play him because the option, I'm selling it. I've got a mind to do that up for one of the centre-backs as well. Because it's like the easy option. And because of other circumstances, and we're going to be removed from one of those options on Saturday, and Moyes is going to have to go back to doing something because he has to do it.
Yeah.
And the team last night, like you said, we talked about it, me and James, like the groan factor. Used to be the 2 o'clock groan factor, didn't it?
Now it's an hour and a quarter before.
Used to go, and it used to go, the atmosphere in the crowd was affected by that as you're walking in or as you're round the ground. And I'm sure there would have been a bit of that last night when people seen the team and just gone, why? Why are we doing this again? Why is Dwight McNeil starting on that? Like, if you're going to give Dwight McNeil a chance, it has to be on the left-hand side. That's the only place he can play for me because I don't think the midfield works when he plays in number 10. So to play him on the right again over a young lad, I think fans it turns fans off, basically, that kind of thing. I think anyway, it certainly turns me off. So Baz is crawling on the floor. It's absolutely
good
fantastic.
job he's an athlete.
It was pointless. It was absolutely pointless you walking on the floor. It was pointless.
Well, but you pointed that out. You wouldn't
But we're going to have that crazy situation of a man who shouldn't, in my view, shouldn't be starting at all. Yeah. Is going to start 3 consecutive games as a centre midfield player, a right-sided midfield player, and then a left-sided midfield player, and he will perform equally badly in all 3. I mean, you say that Dwight can only play on the left. I would argue perhaps his better games have been in the middle, but...
No, I agree with that in terms of how the system used to be, but I don't think that's how this system works.
You can't do it in this one.
I don't think it works because I don't think you get that was in a very... That's in a very defensive, low block style football team.
True.
This is a little bit different. David Moyes, whether you like it or don't like it, wants us to play on the front foot. It doesn't always work, and you have to have 3, I think. And first half, I thought it worked perfectly last night. The 3 and just sort of rotated a little bit, took up different positions. Dwight doesn't offer you that.
That was a very rose-tinted view of the first half. Yeah.
Oh, I thought the midfield. I thought we dominated the midfield.
Oh, sorry, I don't dispute that, but that was against a real cack team.
But you're playing against what you're playing against, aren't you? You know, Harrison Armstrong was put into the team last night because of the strength of Wolves and the manager's talk. But again, that's why for me, it's got to be Dibbling playing because you're playing against the team where you're like, go on, lad, go and take these to the cleaners.
I agree. The message there, writ large, was, I'm the manager. I have to start either Dwight McNeil or Tyler Dibbling. Yes. Dwight it is then.
Yeah. And I think...
If there's any fragile confidence or anything like that, or homesickness, we go back in history and all those sorts of things, whatever it is about Dibbling, it's not being helped by the man management of the manager.
No.
He's not thinking big picture, right? He's not thinking even the next game. You know, we knew when AFCON was, and he kept playing his best players over and over again. That's got us in the good position we're in. Ultimately, he's doing a good job, isn't he? Ultimately. You know, 55, 60 points might be possible, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to modify your plans mid-flight or during the journey if you see opportunities, and we're missing them.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, people can criticise. People can say, well, what isn't Dibbling doing? And I've questioned Dibbling myself and said, what isn't he doing in training that other people are doing? But I do think there's games where you just say, you know, Barry's had bad games and started the next game. So why is it different for him than it is for Dibbling? Barry's needed games, and Barry was awful last night. Like, didn't even get involved in it. Didn't do anything, in my opinion.
He didn't do much.
He didn't do anything. He didn't, and he's got no physicality about him, so he doesn't even give centre backs a rough time.
The centre backs now they can just be a bit rough with him, and he'll go sleep. You go and have a nap somewhere. Yeah.
So we're happy to say,
Better wasn't any better.
Yeah, and we're happy to say, Dibbling. Barry can play these games, get him going, but it's different. It seems to be different with Dibbling. Don't get me wrong, Dibbling has to do more. But I thought last night was a perfect opportunity to go, look at the league table, look where we are. Horses for courses. He's a right midfielder. Let's put him in the team. Dwight McNeil's not. And, you know.
It was cautious, Morris. Yeah. That's what it was.
Cautious when we didn't have to be.
Absolutely. And that then, it does ripple to every part of the process, doesn't it? Which clearly the impact on Dibbling, who never even got on the field, right? Yeah. A guy who got hooked off in the last game, played no better in this game and stayed the full 90. The subs he did make were late and not quite like for like, but they were just as a product of having a player sent off, all that sort of crack, against a team who, of course they doubled their points, in the last 2 games or something. Yeah. But they're down where they are for a very good reason. Guess what? Pretty much everybody beats them. Yeah. But we didn't go or appear to go into the game with an intent of asserting that we are much better than you.
Well, I think you got it right before when you said, first half.
I got it wrong just now.
No, but you first half we dominated the midfield 3 were doing really well, recovering the ball really well. We got the goal. We were unlucky not to get a second. And like you said, it was like, go out there, be professional. You'll get a second goal, and we'll win this game. But when the game got to about 60 minutes, and you could see them growing into it, and then they made subs, and we don't react to that. It was so obvious. It was so obvious what was going to happen. They were going to get an opportunity. It fell to the young lad who's having a great month.
Yeah.
And he puts it into the back of the net. From their point of view, it's a great goal. From our point of view, it's a terrible goal.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
I hate the fact that when you're in the crowd, everyone can see that.
Why can't
But players and managers can't see it.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
I had the guy sits next to me, Franny, for the last game, he said, do they have spotters in the stand? Yeah. And he was being sarcastic because we can see stuff they're not seeing. Well, they don't have spotters. They have TV cameras everywhere. You know what I mean? But there's blind spots there.
Yeah.
For the manager, there are blind spots which have him starting people like Dwight McNeil, even though he has long since said you don't really have a future here.
Yeah.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah, that
Apologies.
was me.
That was you. I'm sorry.
From
I was getting the comments.
From a few brief moments ago.
Yeah.
So we started both halves very slow, and the second one killed us in the end.
Yeah.
And that's, the cumulative what's going on impacts me personally from when I see that team 75 minutes before the game starts and I'm thinking, what the bleep. Yeah. Everything else then becomes I can see it coming. And therefore, you've got a quiet crowd because we're shitting ourselves, pardon my French, that the worst team in the division, maybe the worst Premier League team ever statistically, when the season's finished, Derby fans are hoping, sort of thing. And perhaps a performance of some teams like us means Derby, you're going to keep it. And therefore, we're not surprised when they score because our bloody two central defenders don't like each other or whatever it is. That means that they're so cacked together, it's not true. One or other of those, if he had the choice, should not be playing. We all think that's Keane. If he thinks Keane is great, then it's Tarks, isn't it? Because as a duo...
Well, it's definitely Keane.
Yeah, I agree.
For the next 3 games,
no,
there's
that's
no
what
argument.
I mean, but you're right. That's taking it out of his hands, though.
No, it has.
Patterson got a game because it was taken out of his hands, and that can't be how this manager wants to be remembered. I can't make a decision. He sat on him and his crew sat on the hands for 15 minutes after they scored before we made a sub change.
But it was almost like
they didn't. It took them nearly 10 minutes to react to a sending off.
It was almost like
it's ridiculous.
And I think there's absolute evidence of this, but it's almost like, well, if I didn't make the sub 10 minutes before that happened, why would I make it 10 minutes after? Because I would look stupid. Because you get that thing, don't you, where something happens in a game and you see managers instantly react, and it's like, well, why didn't you do that 5 minutes ago? When you could sense the danger. I think with Moyes there is a stubbornness to go.
All managers are stubborn.
Oh, of course they are, yeah.
Right, but a sending off is an event that allows you to do anything you want.
Yeah. Right?
And surely they run the scenario, what happens if one of our centre-backs gets sent off? Well, Jake moves over and Nathan goes in right back. Maybe that's a no-brainer. Bang, that's what we do. So as soon as it happens, that's what you do. Not 10 minutes later. Not 10 minutes later. And it really looked like he was sat on his arse. He didn't know what to do. Yeah. And the time goes by. Yeah. You sit on your phone, right, and say, I'll just do this. And the person you're talking to goes and makes a cup of coffee and comes back, and you find out you've been on your phone for 10 minutes. Yeah. Time just flies. Yeah. And I think that's what happened last night. Yeah. They were thinking about what to do. I'm looking across from where I sit. They're having the conference, and I said this to Baz when we were chatting earlier on. I'm seeing Daichi behaviours. Yeah. Touchline conferences about what to do. Yeah. Don't you do pre-match scenario planning? What
I'm sure.
Can I ask a question to you?
Yeah.
Like, how?
Yeah, you can put my mic up on, sir.
Go on. Yeah.
Right.
Light means always I.
Just the question for me is, how could we have a defence that went to a real tough game at the City ground and kept a clean sheet, and he's reverted to the defence that lets goals in, and the 2 games prior against teams below us, we've let 5 goals in?
Don't know.
I just don't understand that. Sunday was a joke of a performance defensively, and yet he thought last night, just leave it exactly the same. It blows my mind. I just don't understand it. Give me some answers to pair here.
Devil's avocado. What I would say is that maybe Moyes with another game, because he said on Sunday, someone asked him about players being burnt out, and it was like, well, the bad news is we've got another 2 games this week, so it ain't going to get any better if you think this is the lowest, is the lowest point. And maybe he was managing the squad of there's another game in 3 days. I ain't getting anyone back, and I'm going to have to bring some of these players into the squad. But my opinion of that is, so fucking what? this is a Premier League game that we need to win.
John just said, and it's right. If he's that wedded to Michael Keane, right, which is fine, then drop Tarkowski, put O'Brien centre back. O'Brien, or hang on, or have the balls to drop O'Brien. It's not working at right back.
Yeah, that's the other way of doing it.
About to say,
that's the other way of doing it.
Isn't the bigger issue that we haven't got a right back? Like, sorry, not that we haven't got a right back, but the bigger issue is because we don't have a right back. Like we've got we've got a slow right back. He's not a slow centre back, if that makes sense.
No,
Jake O'Brien.
Yeah, we've had this.
But he's a slow right back, and we've got a massive problem. And I said this last night. The freaking group, Angus Kinnear. What have you been doing? You've had, in the way I look at it, you've had 7 months to find a right back. Literally, Angus Kinnear, June the 1st. You've had 7 months to find a right back. You thought you had it in Kenny Tete. You told us on that couch that you were scrambling around in the last 24 hours of the window to try and find a right back. We've had 4 months since then. It's January the 8th, and we still haven't got a right back. I find that, mind blowing. Like, literally mind blowing, because there's every other position you can cope with. All right. I'm not a massive fan of Michalenko, but I know he can do a job, and I know he'll do a job for the rest of the season. I know we can even get Dwight McNeil and go, well, he can play in different positions. We do not have a right back, and if I find it
Well, the right back we have is going to play at the weekend.
But he is, John, but he's not. He's one that Moyes is so just desperate not to have.
But your mind is blown by the manager. Right. Kinnear also sat on the sofa and said, and he didn't, sorry, I'm not going to use the words he said. I'm going to give the message I heard, right? Yeah. Which is the problem we have is the manager's standards are so high, whatever that means, that he says no to 99% of the players we put in front of him. Therefore, if he's wedded to the physicality of Jake O'Brien, so he wants big, strapping lads at right back, right? And he'll sacrifice offensive responsibilities for that. There's nothing we can do.
No.
Right? Because which right back are you going to go and get that we're happy with? One who we call it, or I call it, my phrase, 21st century right back was more about offensive than defensive. In other words, you'll sacrifice their defensive capabilities because of their ability to go forward. That's not what David Moyes wants. Is it?
Well, I mean...
Or is it? I don't know.
He had Seamus Coleman, though. Like, he helped bring the new generation in.
We can't go back 15 years.
No, I'm just saying he helped bring that in. He wanted Kyle Walker at Everton. Let's not forget. He was a manager who ushered in the new era of right backs with Leighton Baines on one side and Seamus on the other. He helped with that.
Yeah.
And that's why I just find it. We can talk all day about what we've got, and the manager will go, we've got one more Premier League game till we get Adissa back and we get Njai back. Leeds will get those two back. Around the same time, we'll get Dewsbury Hall back the same sort of couple of weeks.
So what he's saying?
No, but I'm saying...
This is your deduction.
And we'll have Branthwaite back within that 2-week window as well.
Will we?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, everything's tomorrow then, yeah?
What I'm coming on to is the right back situation is like one that's been just there, sitting there on your desk, on the pile of papers, top of the desk, and it's just getting...
Let's play a game then.
It's getting...
Let's play a game.
Okay.
No, I'm agreeing with you, right? But no, I'm agreeing with it, mate, right?
No, who's the phrasing, John? You threw
Yeah. But you're blaming the owners.
No, I'm not. I'm not blaming the owners. I'm not blaming the owners.
You did. You said, what have TFG and Kinnear been doing?
Yeah.
Right? So here's the game, right? Is there money?
I believe so.
Do we have a recruitment team who have all the data analytics, all that sort of crap?
We bought one, didn't we?
Right? So yes.
Yeah.
Of all these questions, a yes, we're leading to what the problem is, right?
Yeah.
Are we, as a football club, and probably David as the manager, able to define what we want?
I think so.
I want a right back that looks like this.
Yeah.
Right? Can the data analytics guys find that person in their big F-off database that says, here's 10 of them? Right?
You would like to think so.
And by the way, these 10, we can afford all of them because we know what the budget is, etc., etc., etc. Right? And of all, do you suspect that there's a percentage of those 10 who could have been here on January the 1st.
Yeah.
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 So why not? I offer the view because the manager says no to all 10 of them. Either because, A, the way he wants to play, they don't suit, but that should have been buried into the criteria.
Yeah.
In other words, he should have signed off on the criteria and then it becomes just one of these 10, right? Or his way of defining the criteria is, I want a player called Barry Cass. There he is over there. Go get him for me. In other words, I don't know what I want, but I know what it looks like, and it looks like that Barry Cass bloke.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that James O'Brien bloke because he's too big.
He looks like,
tall.
he looks like Jacob and his brother.
He does, yeah. So if that's the roads lead to the manager, right, and the manager, quote, has all the power, that's an emotional way of saying it.
Yeah.
But if we define what does that mean, and again, Kinnear said it on the sofa, Bad's got a lot of stuff out of him, but watch it again, people, because the more times you watch it, you see how much more he shares, if you like, is the manager's power is, if he says no, which is shorthand for, you can buy him if you want, but I ain't playing him, right? They don't get him. They don't get that player. Now, there's going to come a point, and it's coming quickly, probably in the summer, when the owners, if you want to use the owners as the demanding client at the top of the stack, is going to say, we have a strategy, don't we, in our football group? We have a strategy, Angus, for the English team. That strategy has at its heart younger players to be developed. This manager says no to young players. So change the manager then.
Have you taken anything
Change the manager then.
Have you taken anything out of what he said? Obviously in the rooms we were in the summer, but also recently, because he said in the press conference on Friday, was it? He said in the press conference, or was it Monday, that he said when he was asked about players, he referred to the owners and he referred to Angus in the press conference. And he said they don't want any short-term fixes.
He's right.
No, and I don't argue with that. But what I'm saying, I'm not questioning what he said. I'm just questioning the way he referred to the owners and Angus. And in the summer when we were in those rooms, he was also agitated. I won't say angry or upset, just agitated that we hadn't signed players. Yeah. So is there a...
Yes, there is insight to be derived.
Is there a disconnect when you hear those things of they say they don't want this, and then in the summer,
okay,
where's my players?
Yeah. There's a couple of things, right? There's always a couple of things, I suppose. In the summer, let's go from the summer as the start of us start to figure out, if you like, the relationships. Yeah. He talked about we are failing in some departments. The only time he's used that phrase recently is about his team, not about recruitment.
Yeah.
So whether he got his chain pulled, as I rather hope he did, back in the summer, dirty linen in public, all that sort of crap, right? Even if you get the question, the stock response could or perhaps should come out, right? If he wants to reference where there's conflict in decision-making, he shouldn't do that in public. There should be no reference whatsoever to the owners. The owners will set expectation for a return on their investment. The person that they've tasked with being accountable for delivering that is Angus Kinnear, the chief exec. Again, in the interview with Baz, he made it very, very clear he is their man on the ground. So if he wants to be critical, the manager, be critical of Angus Kinnear. So he can. I don't have an issue with him saying my chief executive doesn't want short-term fixes. Actually, it's not Angus Kinnear doesn't want short-term fixes. It's not the owners. It's the football club.
Yeah.
Okay? We don't want short-term benefit for long-term pain. You want Souček, he wants 3 years. We get 3 years. We get rid of you in the summer. We're stuck with the bugger for another 2.
Yeah.
Right? We're not doing that, David.
Yeah.
So compromise your demands. And the only one he has to compromise is any insistence he has upon Premier League experience. All the other attributes are still valid, aren't they? Whether he wants physicality, pace, technical ability, whatever. We shouldn't be going out and buying 18-year-old kids to get us to the end of the season anyway.
No.
So, but there is a balance there. A short-term fix is called a loan.
Yeah.
So if he's saying, as a manager, I'll make do with Jake O'Brien for the rest of the season, but I would like this. And the committee says, well, the players you want, we can only get we're not going to commit to them a 3-year contract, right? Because that's the short-term fix thing. But we can try and get as close to that as we can through a loan. But again, if you just name players that you want, David, and they all want longer contracts, because guess what? You've probably spoken to them, said, come and play for me, and they've gone, I'll come if I can have 3 years, David. But we're not doing that. We've been there painfully more than once, right? If he doesn't think he can work in that environment, because all he wants is short-term fixes. Short-term's not even 5 months to the end of the season. Short-term's the next 18 months.
Yeah.
And he walked through the door, as he did a little over a year ago, and said, I'm not here for long because my missus wants me to retire. He's got to think. He's saying, I'm a short-term guy.
Yeah.
Well, the shortest of short terms is this summer. This summer, they have to make a decision. His behaviours are all leading to, we change the manager in the summer, in my view.
Yeah, no,
So what he needs to avoid that is to express and show that he can be, if he wants to be, because he might not want to be, a longer-term manager. By getting the best out of the resources he's got, as we talked about on BWB more than once in the build-up to this window opening, get himself into a position in December where he has the power to demand things. Because he can give a promise saying, look what I've done with this, imagine what I can do with that little bit more. Because you can get good players in January if you've got the cash and the trust in the manager or the club or whatever to extract value from it. So I think it's interesting. And I suspect that each time he says something like, particularly if he's saying it publicly, he's saying it privately, right? The owners want this and I want that. Yeah. You're not going to win. David, you're a manager. You're not going to win a battle with the owner, right? And if the owner's got a very high strategic view that says this is what we think we should be doing, and I think everyone in this room and listening and watching all that probably agree with us, we want planning that is going to be better than short-term fixes. Kinnear's job is to be the bridge between the strategic intent of the owners and the tactical requirements of the manager to get to the end of the season with as many points as possible.
Yeah.
And that's where Angus earns his money. And loans and things are in player terms are a way out of that. But if you've done all the work and you know who you want, and they're loanees, and you think the player wants to come for whatever reason, and the clubbies are happy to let him go, do it.
Yeah.
And that's be decisive in your decision-making and effective in your communication. And I think we came into this with a pretty good example of how shit in communication we are because bloody microphones don't work. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Angus has made commitments in the past about coming around the loop again. And explain January's window and stuff like that, and that's for us, I guess. But also, he's going to do briefings for shareholders and all sorts of things. And they're all going to be asking similar questions, because even shareholders are fans as well. What happened? How can we have year upon year of knowing what we need and not getting it?
Yeah.
And don't let a single individual, someone's got to exercise override and say, hey, what you say, mate, but we're getting that one.
Yeah, because that... what you said
and
there.
I think you've done that with the Moneyball thing. We're selling him.
Yeah.
Stop using him as a crutch or whatever. He's going. Right? And we're going to give him away if we have to.
I do think that's like... He played Harrison Armstrong last night, and that's brilliant. So it's not a case of like... He's looked at him and gone, you're ready to play. You've just played half a season in the Championship, so you're ready to play. And then won't play Diblin. But the reason Diblin's not up to the pace is because you haven't been playing him, or he hasn't got an outlet to play, and it's
never prepped for AFCON particularly well, did we?
So it's that thing, isn't it? Of like, there seems to be long-term strategies, obviously, with some of the players they've bought, Asnews, Diblin, Barry, but the execution hasn't worked, because Asnews is still yet to kick a ball in the Premier League. Diblin's barely played. He's barely played at all. Barry now's on a bit of a run, and we've seen improvements, of course. But there's no, it just... And then, as you just said there, the owners and Angus will be like, well, that's what we're looking for. Young players. And if he doesn't play them, that's where... You're right, that's where the disconnect is, isn't it? Of... He wants... His perfect player, let's be honest, Moyes' perfect player is Dewsbury Hall. 27-year-old... Lots of experience, still got one contact in him at the highest level. But they don't come around very often.
They don't.
And that's the thing, isn't it? So you have to work with what you've got. And
I guess the recruitment team and the negotiating team found him.
he wasn't that spot.
No, I know, but you know what I mean? And then you work as a team to get the deal over the line,
Yeah.
which includes speaking to the manager, right? If I'm a late teens, which isn't exactly as young as it used to be in football terms, is it? When you look at a kid, how was that lad last night who scored 18 or something, right? But a guy in and around 20, maybe early 20s, and all the messaging's been done right, the finances look right, and then he looks at the man and goes, he ain't going to play me. Thanks for telling me. It's like Brand saying, we'll look after your boy, Mrs. Mrs. Keane, sort of thing. And then you don't do it. You've got to walk the talk. And the big picture stuff about creating a platform for growth for this football club, right, is all about more than marginal decisions on whether you play Dibbling or Dwight McNeil or not.
Yeah.
You know, if you think it's a marginal decision, you always play Dibbling.
Yeah.
That's my view.
Yeah.
Right? Then I'm not the one who's going to get the sack, am I?
No.
But anyone who's worked in business knows if you are making decisions which you don't think are the absolute optimal ones because of other instructions from your bosses, be it the chief exec or the owners or whatever, you make it very clear. You know, you need to know, Angus, that for the games we're playing, I should be playing Dwight McNeil, but I know the bigger picture. I'm not stupid. We've got to attract young players, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to play Dibbling. And then I'll use that as a reason if we lose because of him. And Baz said to me earlier on, and he's spot on, if last night we played what we all think was the right back four, which would have Patterson and O'Brien playing centre-back with Dibbling in front of Patterson, and the result was still the same, it wouldn't be on the manager, would it? As much. Because you say, well, he's got the bare bones. He's trying to manage minutes, all these sorts of things. He's playing the players that most people think he should play because of how poor the others are. Mikalenko wouldn't look as bad, and so on and so forth. And maybe the result would have been different. But we can't have this thing that the manager knows best, because he's part of the process of getting to best. But a single individual who's allowed to make decisions in isolation to all the other facts, because he's stubborn or wants what he wants or whatever, you've always got to be careful around that.
But the main thing is, if he'd played Dibbling last night and he played Jake O'Brien in centre-back, the main thing out of that, what you're getting is two players have been afforded the opportunity to build their Everton careers.
Absolutely.
And that's what you take. So, okay, we could sit here today and we can go, if we want to look at the positives and go, Harrison Armstrong, fantastic. What a great 70 minutes or whatever it was that he played last night. And, you know, that's what you come away with. But you just think to yourself, well, that could have been Dibbling and that could have been Jake as well, playing at centre-back.
Absolutely.
And that's what you've took out the game. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking at now, going, where we are in the league is we're slap bang where we all expected us to be. We'll pick up more points. We'll be all right. So why not use this opportunity to give these younger players a chance to build into the season? You've done it with Barry because you've got Beto, because you've got very little else for competition. So he's got more games and he scored goals. He's nowhere near the final thing. But why not? You know, as we've said on multiple occasions, McNeil's done. He's done. But Dibbling, this is just the start. So why not do that? And if you
to the converted,
I
absolutely.
know, it's just that's what frustrates me.
The manager's approach, right? Clearly, you know, if this was like stocks and shares, and you're trying to decide which shares to buy, there's too many variables in there, right? Because the window will close just after he starts getting his players back, so you'll never know what he would or wouldn't have done, right? But my view would be, as soon as we've clicked 40 points, even though that's not the threshold anymore and hasn't been for a few years, his behaviour might change.
Yeah, well, it will.
So that means somebody needs to put an arm around him and say, we don't necessarily want to go to the extreme as we're fine, we're safe, we can lose loads of games and it won't be a problem, because that's not the case. But the risks associated with playing a Dibbling, playing Jake as centre-back and so on and so forth aren't as great, David, as perhaps you think they are. And will give you some relief for the bigger picture stuff. Meanwhile, you get these two players on loan who give you backstops. Because he has to do it for 1 or 2 games. Dibbling's been hooked twice in games he started.
Yeah.
That's really poor man management.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether he was stinking the place out or not. From a player development perspective, that's appalling. And then last night, he never even got on the field. And poor Asnu's never got near it, full stop. Right? So you've got a conflict, you've got a constraint, right, between the man who rightfully should have the final say in what the starting 11 is and what others may want.
Yeah.
And that constraint needs to be confronted, because if you don't confront it, it just lingers and it festers and it gets worse. Yeah. And the easy way out for football clubs, when all this plays out, is you sack the bloody manager. You don't sack, if you're Man United, you don't sack Wilcox, you sack
we've
the
seen
Amarin.
2 clubs, haven't we?
Yeah, and because you can't win those battles. Because what you don't know, if it's a Wilcox at Man United, if he's doing exactly what the owner tells him to do.
Yeah.
And if you won't do it, Amarin, you've got to go. Right? And Angus is in that role as the chair probably of the recruitmenty side, where he's saying he's not on message, so he's got to go. But the emotional credits that David's got, because of the good job he's done up to this point, means it's not going to be stupid and just knee-jerk into it. But he does have to change.
Yeah.
He does have to change. Otherwise, he's got a really difficult summertime. And the club has a difficult... We don't need change. We've got another reasonably large turnover in players coming in the summer. We need continuity.
Yeah.
He needs to get on board with the approach, or convince them to get on board with his. But pulling against each other's wrong, if that's what's happening. Yeah.
we haven't even talked about it yet, but Michael Keane sending off. I mean, what's your opinion on that?
It's not a red cards offence, is it? My view, right? But I don't know the laws of the game, because I can know what the 12 laws are, but the interpretations thereof. If we end up getting, I do it, don't I? Wavy hands bit from Howard Webb saying the way the directors have been put out there, that's a sending off. Then you throw at him the Armstrong bloody back of the car.
All right, okay. Do you think Michael Keane deliberately pulled that lad's head?
No.
See, I do.
Okay.
I'd seen the picture and he looks like he's got a handful of hair. So, but if you don't...
No, it's why he's got a handful of hair.
Okay.
Do you okay, I'll ask you the question. You think in the process of jumping up, Michael Keane thought, there's a ponytail there, I'm going to pull it. Or was he on the way down?
As far as I'm concerned, he's pulling his hair.
Yeah, but is he on the way up or on the way down?
He's on the way down.
Right. And the ball's already gone.
Yeah.
And he deliberately pulled his hair.
I didn't say he deliberately pulled his hair. He's pulling his hair, though.
I didn't say he wasn't pulling
No, I'm just saying he's pulling his hair. I don't think you have to do something. I don't think anything has to be deliberate for it to be dangerous play.
That's not dangerous play.
By the laws, though, sadly.
No, that's what I mean.
That's the problem.
No, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm asking.
We live in a world, right? And the analogy I would give you is, I stroke your cheek with my hand. That's violent conduct. Sent off three games. In a world where that's violent conduct, maybe this is as well.
Yeah.
So what happened about Armstrong? That was a yellow.
No.
You can't have it, right? I think pros, football people, I actually thought they were all go, that's a joke, that the game's over type of thing, if that's a sending off. Yet the divvies on bloody match of the day, maybe it's who they are, right? Red stripe central sort of thing. So no issue with that. That's clearly a red card. Well, you need to tell those pundits that's 3 matches banned for doing that. Apart from the fact whether it's deliberate or accidental. Deliberately breaking someone's leg is probably doesn't matter to the person whether it's deliberate or not, does it? If you broke my leg, you broke my leg.
Yeah.
Right? So you'd have sent him off then, would you? Well,
under the letter of the law, unfortunately, it's a sending off.
So what's the letter of the law?
It's that it's violent conduct.
Well, it's subjective whether it's violent conduct or not. I don't think it is violent conduct.
No, that's... Listen, it looks daft, but...
Yeah, but when you say the letter of the law, that sounds like that the referee had he had to do it. What we had was a very experienced referee doing VAR.
Yeah.
Deciding that the referee had made a clear and obvious error, calls him over and says, you know what, lad, that's violent conduct. If he convinces them it's violent conduct, it is a sending off. But it's not violent conduct. It's mad. If you're going to send players off for that, then the Armstrong thing cannot possibly happen without the player getting sent off. But he didn't. Now, what I don't know, because I don't... Basil know, because he remembers forensically. I'm assuming the Armstrong thing was before the Michael Keane thing. Yeah?
77th minute.
So the referee's trying to be consistent. I'm not giving a sending off for that. And then Kavanagh kicks up and goes, I think you need to come and look at this. Right? This ref's on his second ever game of the Premier League.
And I thought he had a good game for 70 minutes.
First off, particularly, yeah. And, so he's on a reserve list. That means he gets a Premier League game every now and again. So why does Kavanagh think that is not any... I think, you see, with hindsight and all that crap, had the referee given a yellow card to Keane, he wouldn't have got called up by VAR to send him off. I don't think.
That's the problem, though, isn't it? Yeah. Right there.
So because he saw nothing in it, right, why's Kavanagh got involved?
Well, that's the problem right there, isn't it? That's football, VAR in a nutshell, why people don't like it. Is because it's the old, you didn't give a penalty, we would have given a penalty, or if you'd give a penalty, we wouldn't have changed our minds on a penalty. It's the disconnect between the two things of what's real and what's not real, and like you're saying there, the VAR, VAR looks at it because he hasn't seen it, and yet he's given a yellow for the other one on Harrison Armstrong, so the VAR goes...
He can't have seen it properly, can he?
No, of course, yeah. Of course
the Armstrong one.
Of course he couldn't. And them ones are what VAR's really for, is something that's naughty.
Snide.
That you've missed in real time. Yeah. That's what VAR should be really for.
Yeah.
Is to see that. And that's why people don't like VAR, clearly, is because we get this situation where we've missed something which is, in football terms, horrible. Like, low, putting your studs into someone's calf. That is actually very, very dangerous for a footballer.
Yeah.
And then you pull something like that, and people are bemused because it's just, what have you done that for? And you're right, you've got Kavanagh and VAR, and you're right again, it's the experience of it. And this is why VAR shouldn't have anybody in it who's a referee, ever. It should be...
That's what they said they were doing, and then they didn't do it.
It shouldn't have an ex-referee. They shouldn't be ex-referees. They shouldn't be current referees. They should be completely independent of referees.
But they have to be qualified refs.
Well, they have to be qualified. Anyone can qualify. And this is why ex-pros... An ex-pro would have looked at the one on Harrison Armstrong
straight red,
and would have said,
bang.
That's a red. We know what he's done because we've seen that all our career. And this is why there should be an independent... Because you're right. The guy's had 2 games goes... Oh, okay, Mr. Kavanagh. And I'll have a look at that, and then feels pressurised to be at the to play very much by the rules. There's no, I don't have a reputation. I'll be sent back down. I'll be at Mansfield next week. I'm at the big show here. Whereas when he puts the report in today and gets his report back, it's all big ticks.
But the head of the organisation says we do not want VAR re-refereeing games. But they are.
Yeah.
No one anywhere has an issue if VAR just keep quiet about that. And yet no one is talking about, except Everton fans, I suppose, the real snidey work on a young player by, down the back of the calf, straight leg, pushing down on it as well, not just bloody hitting him.
It's media narratives, isn't it? It doesn't matter when it's Everton versus Wolves. This is the thing we've talked about on this channel for years. It doesn't matter when it's Everton versus Wolves. It only matters when it's Manchester City. If you see the same incident tonight in Arsenal versus Liverpool, where if Arsenal win the game, they've essentially won the league. If it happens tonight, it'll be talked about for 5 days.
Yes, but I've got a soundbite I keep using, right? We want our club to be decisive in its I want it. Decisive in its decision making and good in its communications. We have a choice last night or whenever to go all in on. I'm not having that.
Yeah, and Moyes did, to be fair.
Well, he said it wasn't deliberate.
If you could hear him.
Yeah, exactly. But because he was saying it wasn't deliberate, blah blah blah, right? But change the narrative. Have you seen this horrendous tackle on Harrison Armstrong? Classic, career, blah, 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 break a leg, whatever, right? All the things. That's what you're supposed to be stamping out, guys, this. Then we bang in an appeal and say, we're going to kick off again about that. unless we win our appeal. You cannot have the same referee in the same game sending a player off for that and not for that. I'm sorry, but that's cack. Complete and utter cack. And if they fine you or, and fans go, ooh, they're going to be horrible to us now. Well, they can't be any worse. Yeah?
No. Well,
If there's any agenda against Everton, and I don't think there is, and I'll stand by that, and others might have a different view. If there is one, it can't get any worse. No. So you've got a free hit. Really lay into the buggers.
yeah.
It's just not good enough. And this orchestrated Michael Owen and Howard Webb thing, waste of time.
Of course it is.
If that's real, get me in or Baz in with Howard and ask. You don't have to broadcast a PG Mall. Just see how hard it'll be for Howard Webb to justify some of these things, right? And if there's a rule somewhere that says, guess what Michael Keane did was violent conduct. The referee had no choice. He had to send him off, and it was only because we had VAR we could draw it to his attention. Then change the goddamn rule then, because there isn't a rule or a law. There's a directive. Change the directive, because that's not what it's for. Because whatever directive you've got says Michael Keane gets sent off and the Wolves player doesn't. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
In any world, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well,
But we were crap. That's not why we lost.
Everton should appeal if they feel that way, and they should put a.
Well, they have to appeal.
No, and they should when they do that appeal make sure that the media are well aware, because as I said, it is all media narratives. People do not care about Everton versus Wolves. They do not care. We've said it loads of times. The reason why Nias got the too much ban for diving was because it was literally the first game on Match of the Day, and there was nothing else happening that day.
When we did all the PSR stuff back in the day, right? Seems an eternity ago now. We have our friendly lawyer who knows the law and all those sorts of stuff. He introduced a phrase to us which we can use here, right? And he was talking about, as a barrister, it's the force of your argument that contributes to how well it's listened to. If we send a letter saying, "Dear Premier League, we'd like to appeal the sending off, please. Let me know." They'll go, "Nah, sorry, appeal's rejected." We make sure before said formal documents filled in, we know happy, and we're going to go in two-footed.
Yeah,
we don't go our own way, right? Might still say no.
Yeah.
But we go in two-footed.
Well, make the appeal
with force.
A back door to airing your views.
Absolutely.
On everything.
That's what I mean. Make your appeal with force, not just as a matter of protocol or etiquette or whatever you want to call it, right? Make it with force. We are not happy. And we're going to end up highlighting. You threaten them if you like.
Yeah.
It's how you do it, isn't it? We are going to complain about everything.
We
see where Forest are.
Yeah.
They feel they're getting not fair treatment. So they're fundamentally anything a bit contentious they're complaining about. That may help them. We're not doing it, or we don't appear to be
Or it might
doing
not help them because there's a less of effect every Forest whinging again.
There is that, yeah.
Everton have an opportunity to put all their eggs in one basket.
Absolutely.
And put everything in there.
Yeah.
And it's again, you can bring the Kavanagh stuff and go, we've got a record as long as your arm of the times this fella has done us over, and he's in the VAR room, and what are you going to do? Are they going to fine you for everything you've listed on that thing?
Part of this, and I agree with you, part of this is how you do it, isn't it, right? So I asked the question on social media about Pawson, right? Which is blah, 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 blah. If he keeps being, involved in contentious, whatever you want to call it, therefore people draw conclusions, therefore, why do you keep appointing him? Yeah. That's because you are convinced, as PG Mall or whatever, that this player is straight as a die. This referee is straight as a die. Therefore, we're almost proving that we trust in him by giving him those games, and he does it again, or it happens again, not him doing it. And Kavanagh has a similar thing. So you, as a club, you say we question the integrity of these referees. We kindly request they do not have head VAR or the on-field referee at any of our games the rest of this season, because we do not need the grief from our fan base, from the wider football family, blah, 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 of people thinking there's issues there. Yeah. And you can be a right top-notch bullshit merchant where you're totally confident in the integrity of both of them, but for the sake of the game and all that bollocks, don't have them on our games, please. And don't give us trainees either at home. An allowed stadium, blah, 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 right? Because what should have happened was this ref was so scared shitless of us that he was giving us stuff he shouldn't have given us. But I think he was quite balanced up to a point, and then he lost it.
I think what would be really interesting is in the press conference, the next press conference.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Because Joe Thomas asked him about Hwang, and he sort of, it wasn't the microphone, he just sort of looked, he sort of was just like looking out to spaces in like, I didn't see that. And Joe was like, I'll be interested to hear your views on it later in the week.
When you have seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do think...
Did he take him off soon after he did that, by the way? Because he went off, didn't he, that fella?
Yeah. I do think that some of our journalists who are in there tomorrow have got a fantastic opportunity to get some really good sound bites if they follow the same logic that we're talking about here of if you push him tomorrow, you could, one after the other, you could get some fantastic stuff out of this. I don't know whether by then we'll know if we've appealed or not. Are you willing to push more? Do you feel like you've been, do you feel like you've had bad treatment this season? And see what mood he's in. Because he might be in the mood where he just lets it all go. I know I'm already getting a fine. Just add this one on.
Yeah.
I've already said it. I'm not going to go... Moyes has already said that he took... if you watch any of the interviews he did last night, whether it be with the club, he was absolutely fuming. He was so angry. Now, of course, he'll have calmed down, but he can't take that back. So let's throw... If I was in that room, I would definitely throw a bit of fuel on that fire and get him to say more. Try and get him to say more. Because as I said, he's already said it.
Yeah.
And he's already missing, and obviously Grealish missing as well adds to the Grealish was just stupid.
Yeah.
But it adds to that. It adds to that. So although I think he did an interview straight after the match where he said he didn't think Grealish was a yellow card, but then I think afterwards he said it was a yellow card. So
I don't know. He said he got asked, I think the Match of the Day once asked him, did he have any issues with the Grealish one? He just said no.
No, yeah.
Intent can get you into trouble, even if you don't make contact. I don't know if lack of intent gives you some relief, because the lack of intent seems to be the defence, the knee-jerk defence to what Michael Keane did was, it didn't mean that. There wasn't any intent in that. He didn't use the word intent. He said it wasn't deliberate, but don't know if that works.
Ultimately, that's what a referee has to do, hasn't he? Because of the law.
He was very quick, wasn't he?
He has to make those judgments, doesn't he? That's his job, because we don't have black and white rules. We have his opinion.
Yeah,
and his opinion was he pulled them.
No, Cavanagh's opinion was.
No, but the referee did get to see it again. Ultimately, it falls on him. It doesn't fall on Kavanagh. It falls on the referee we had last night. He got to see it. He watched it. And after watching it, that was his decision. We can blame Kavanagh, but ultimately that lad made the decision. And
that lad takes the process says all decisions are made by the on-field referee.
Yeah.
We all know that's not how they get to the decision.
No, but I'm not giving the referee an out. I'm saying that he made the decision.
See, I don't know where the ref was, whether he could have seen it.
Well, he wouldn't have, could he?
No.
Because it was on his back.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have been able to. There's no way he could have seen that.
So Kavanagh goes, whatever the lad's name was, Fred. Fred, did you see the hair pull by Michael Key? No. You better come and have a look then.
Yeah.
Right.
See, and if that's the way it was done, John, I wouldn't mind. If that's the way it was done, like there was something in that. Can you just go and look at it again? Because if he pulled his hair there. See, again, because we don't hear what he said, we have no idea, and I'm sure they'll pull it up when they do that. But that's the point, isn't it? We don't get to hear what Kavanagh said to him in that moment. And if he said Everton's number 5 may have done something there, and that's it, go and check the screen, and he goes over, watches it, and he goes, oh yeah, he pulls his hair, and he hasn't been given that information beforehand. But we don't know. We
also don't know that, based on where they're supposed to be on the pitch and where the players were on the pitch, one of the assistants should have been able to see. And they should be watching the ball.
Well, that's the other side of VAR.
They should be watching the ball. That's
the problem, isn't it? Is that we're not getting those other things anymore. Referees and assistant referees have become lazy. They don't they're not seeing stuff. They've become they just get the throw-ins wrong now.
No, I know, but when the call comes, did you see what Blue 5 just did?
Yeah.
Why? What do you think he's done? Well, we think, because I think it's okay. We think he pulled the hair of yellow 27 or whatever it was. And I'm the ref. I go to my AR. What did you see? Didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Okay. You better come to the screen and have a look then. But the ref can still say there's nothing in that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's nothing in.
So it's the same with hang on. It's a case of you better check that again. Do you want to just check that again? Because that's the only way I think VAR will work is do you want to just check that again? Come over and just check that. Don't tell him why. Just come over to the screen and watch that again. Comes over to the screen, watches it again and go, oh, I didn't realise he put 6 studs into the back of his calf. I just thought and I think that's the way VAR should work. And because we don't get told anything and we were told everything was going to be made public in real time. The commentators get to hear it.
Why do they get it and we don't?
Yeah, exactly. The idiots who are paying a fortune to go mad. And you wonder why people are getting more and more turned off with the game experience.
I do wonder when, going back to Nottingham Forest again, right? And they demand the transcript or the audio, whether they get it or not.
Yeah.
Because if they do, we know what they were talking about right now. And maybe we use that as part of our shall we appeal or not. But so much of the game is subjective. Yeah, if the punishment for violent conduct is sent straight red, then the question is, was it violent conduct? I, without being a referee, say no, it wasn't. You imply if that room in Stockley Park was full of ex-players, they'd all say no as well. Now, they may then say, oh, maybe a yellow card for being a bit naughty, and then VAR say, well, we can't interfere with that then. It's like being a magistrate, isn't it? You're a lay person, but you've got legal eagles either side of you. So your actual main VAR person or your assistant could be literally a very recent ex-player.
It's the process, isn't it? That's what it comes down to. It comes down to the process. The same way that when you do hear the audio, you hear like 4 different voices.
All at once.
Again, is the ref hearing that?
No, they always have a thing saying, we hear all of them, but each individual ones can only hear their bit, if you like.
Yeah.
They join them all together.
So that's the point, isn't it? It's like, again, I just think it's just can be so simplified. Go and have a look at the screen. Everton number 5. Go and have a look at it. Don't tell him why. Go over it and he goes, oh yeah, he grabs his ear there. I'm going to send him off for that. But I think there's too much like it's leading the witness sort of thing.
But the argument for Ghana getting sent off was that fundamentally it's you touched a player's face.
Yeah.
There was no force involved in that.
No.
Right? So if you start trying to justify it and say, well, it doesn't matter how hard you did or didn't pull his hair, you're not supposed to do it, right? Therefore, same outcome, right? Clearly, Moisey tried to say, hang on a minute, it's a bit different when you're standing next to each other and you pull over.
No, I agree with
the
that.
biggest hair in the league, sort of thing. But you just shrug. I'm doing it deliberately. You just shrug and go, I sort of give up. Yeah. Sort of thing. I sort of give up. But none of that had a huge material impact on us losing. We didn't lose, losing the second half, we'll call it. But,
no, I don't.
Because they just didn't turn up in the second half.
I don't think we were going to win that game, regardless.
Do you know?
No, I don't think we would have won. The second half, I thought we were.
Oh, second half.
No, I'm saying the second half. I thought once they equalised, we were embarrassing.
It was not lose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then.
So I don't even think that the red cards had anything to do with it. That's why I said last night about Moyes and we're out the red cards. I don't think the red cards affected the game one bit. In fact, they made us defend.
Yeah.
They made us dig in and defend the last 10 minutes. I don't think we were ever winning that game last night. Once the second.
I do me Fergie time. The ref played like 3 minutes less than I would have done.
Yeah.
I had 12 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as I said before, good job then.
Yeah.
Because another 2 or 3 minutes, maybe they would have got that other goal, and then it would have been real difficult. Yeah.
Well, today would have been slightly different. If it was bad enough sitting here with a draw, then let's have a look some of your comments on Toffee TV Premier. Gary Ward, as always, howdying us into a show. Be honest, did we look like we were going to go on and win the game before the sendings offs? That's by the Jays Horn Camp fan club. I've got to say his name because that's his name. As we just said, no, I didn't think we were going to win the game once they equalised. I didn't think we were going to win the game.
I think we could have gone on and won the game after they scored, but not after the sending-offs, no. And the managers literally said, no, let's just keep what we've got.
Steve P says, knew for a guaranteed fact that Mane would score. I said as soon as he saw the lineup. That game also summed up Michael Keane perfectly. Definitely a blessing in disguise, that the red card. It's just that Moyes. But it's not just Moyes, but managers in general. Just beating my head out. It's like they just become completely blind to things that we can all see so clearly. And I'm sorry, but if we don't sign anyone this month, it clearly shows these new owners aren't up to much, because what is the actual ambition? Just to finish 12th when we could go on and spend a bit of money and bring in 3 new players and have a genuine chance of finishing in that Conference League?
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, of course you can.
That person is saying if we don't get players, it's the owner's fault. I don't think it is. It's not the owners. Right? I don't think it's the owners.
Okay.
We keep talking about it's not a PSR issue, it's not a cash up front issue. They keep pouring cash into the business. They expect a return on that. I don't think the owners are saying to Kinnear, nah, we're not letting you buy that player. Right? But they might if that player's a 29-year-old bloody whatever who are proposing a 3-year contract. And if they're saying no to that, they should. And I think part of their distance from the day-to-day operation is allows them to make those decisions. Like, as you say earlier on, a phone call, let's make it theatrical, from Dan to Angus, which says, never play never play Dwight McNeil ever again. And if he's on 18 months, give him away. Because they can't make those big decisions.
I doubt Dan Freakin knows who Dwight McNeil is.
That's why I'm saying it, right? But the point is, to stop this manager having that crutch of Premier League experience...
Do we have to start...
Send him on his way.
I know we haven't really got on this, but do we have to stop thinking maybe as a fan base about owners and more about the people who run the team?
Absolutely.
The club run day to day, which is Angus Kinnear and his team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Angus, again, I know I keep referring to Bart's thing, but it's full of good stuff. Angus made it very, very clear, my words, not his words, but I am the man on the ground. Of course, I have to consult and inform with my boss, which is Marcus or whoever it is, representing the ownership group. But the whole intention is to let me get on with it.
Which is exactly what we want, isn't it?
Totally, yeah.
Bappy says, afternoon, before people start moaning about the 2 red cards, they shouldn't, as they were blatant red cards. The pressing issue is how poor we were in the second half. Managers should have made changes way earlier, as our midfield had run out of legs. I agree with that. Fume Punto says, when the club going to actually make some kind of statement regarding the referees? I feel like if we don't, then it's down to the fans to make as much noise about it as possible, to the point where they, including either Everton or the PGMOL, are forced to talk about this. This has gone on for years, and all that happens is that it gets brushed aside. Some kind of case must be made by the club, and with all the evidence over the years, a real reason can be made for corruption. But I suppose every club will say that, won't they?
I was okay with that to a point until you got to the corruption bit, right? I think I'd be really disappointed if we have not had a plan prior to the season starting how we're going to manage the relationship fundamentally with the Premier League and PGMOL.
Yeah.
Don't react to things you don't like, because that's never going to land in good things. And if we do the campaign management that you do in the outside world, you'd say, well, objection handling is a key thing in trying to sell your thoughts. And the objection handling would be from PGMOL, well, everyone thinks we're crap, so we must be doing something right. You know what I mean? We are so balanced that in every game, one team thinks we've done a good job refereeing and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
So you deal with that objection and get past that. What we're arguing here is fundamentally around inconsistency, not across games, within a game.
Yeah. No, definitely, yeah.
If referees can't say to an experienced Premier League player, when he's gobbing off again, all he had to do, justifying the sending off of Grealish is easy. I think it's a bit harder to justify the green one.
They had a player booked for waving the imaginary yellow card.
But a referee could still say, Jack, you're on a yellow.
They can't, though.
I think a referee can do anything he wants. Of course he can. It's subjective whether he chooses to take that as bad or not. He could just literally say, mate, get over yourself.
But then wouldn't people turn round, though, and say, well, where's the consistency? Because they've had a player booked for waving a yellow card. Then Wolves fans...
Do you think that every single time a player says something to a ref to get booked?
I do think, though, when we're talking about consistency, we have to play our part. They had a player booked for waving the imaginary yellow card, which is absolute bollocks.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay.
So our player got booked for doing that, and it's his own fault. He's a senior player. He should know he can't do that because they know they can't do that.
I don't think that's consistency at all.
But it is consistency.
No.
We can't sit here and say we don't like
My
something.
understanding is, based on previous years, right, is that waving imaginary cards is a specific event that is rewarded with a yellow card for you.
Yeah.
Going like this.
Sarcastically clapping is a yellow card.
Well, why didn't Van Dijk get one then?
Because that referee got that wrong. And I think that's what we have to call out.
We talk about the sensitivity of referees who are not close enough to common sense, right? Yeah. I just think referees in days gone by, blah, 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 would have said, Jack, behave yourself. I can book you for that.
But that's referees in that they don't do that now because they don't have the autonomy. They have...
They should have.
I know they should. That's what I'm saying. There's a should have, and then there's the reality, isn't it? It's the same with. That's what we're saying.
Okay. Yeah.
There's the should. That's no. I 100%. I 100% agree with you, John. It's the rules that are the issue, aren't they?
Well, hang on a second. Yes, they are the issue, right? Baz will often talk. Handball's a great one, isn't it? Very subjective, right? So Baz rightly says it's much more straightforward. You say, "Here's your hand, it's handball." End of. Okay, we'll whinge about it as Everton fans one day because whatever, and others and so on. But everyone will know. Touches your hand, that's it. Yeah. If the referee is applauded by a player in a sarcastic manner, he is automatically yellow carded, right? Then if that's the directive, tell us there then. Tell us it's there then. And you know what? They won't, because when it happens and a yellow card is not given, we will say.
But that's what I'm saying. That I totally agree with you.
So give referee.
That's where he should be dragged over the coals, and we should know he's dragged over the coals. And it's the same. It is like the handball thing, because the problem with the handball thing is what happens with the handball is so we get the Tarky one, and we all say it's not handball because it wasn't, and then we see someone else. It happened to somebody else. No, the very same thing.
Yeah.
And then we go, that's handball. Why? Because the Tarky one was. But the Tarky one wasn't handball. It's just that the dickhead on the day give it. And that's the problem, isn't it, with all offences, is that we look at it and go, well, he got away with it, so he should get away with it.
But I could argue in those two examples, right, that the consistency is it's the individual referee's autonomy that allows him to go, I don't think that's handball, so I'm not giving it.
The referee,
another referee does think it's handball, so gives it handball.
And that's the problem with referees. We talked about it the other day. The referees, they get away with murder. No one ever gets sacked. No, for anything they do, other things, but they never get
suspended.
They never get. They get. He's not doing a game this weekend, but he's back on it the week after. So he gets a nice week off. If the lad who never booked, the lad who never booked Van Dijk, did anything happen to him?
I don't know.
But if it did, we never heard about it.
That's right.
But that's the point, isn't it? It's like, if they're not booking these players, are they being punished for it? And if the point's being totted up to make them whatever.
But we can have some common sense, right? Yeah. So, Jack Grealish, foolish, twice in 5 minutes or whatever it was, right? But if you swear at a ref, you should get booked, shouldn't you?
Yeah, you should.
If you say anything, you should get booked.
But it's almost like...
But you'd have 20 bookings a game.
You know what it is, though, John? Know what it is? It's, if I'm the ref and you swear at me, right? That's, you swore at me and nobody else heard it, right? Yeah. But soon as you raise your hands and let the world know that you don't like me, it's like mime artist to be fucked in the Premier League, wouldn't he? It's like you know what I mean? It's like, you do that. But if I go, you're a fucking joke, it's not a yellow card, but sarcastically do that. Or
it is if a camera picks it up.
No, I know, but I wonder whether if a player goes over to a referee and says, he should have been booked for that. I wonder whether that's a yellow card, but because they do that, and it's like you're telling the world.
No, I get it.
It's like that old thing of like, when people put videos online of like a goal and it stays there all day and they don't take it down because of copyright, and yet someone puts a mistake by a referee. Oh, it's down like that. Oh, the Premier League get that down straight away. They don't want to be they don't want their product embarrassed. So when a player says something, it's between me and him. But soon as there's a card being raised, it's like that's a yellow card. It's nonsense. The whole thing's nonsense. But unfortunately, Jack is a senior player, and he's.
But all these players, right, and all these clubs are all briefed on how the referees are going to treat certain incidents, aren't they?
Yeah.
If they've been told prior to the season that if you brandish an imaginary card, you're getting a yellow.
Yeah.
End of.
Yeah.
If you sarcastically and visibly question the referee, i.e., oh, well done, you finally give me a, you're getting a yellow card. If you do that twice in a couple of minutes, mate, you're going off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But referees can talk to players, say, Jack, you're an idiot. I'm going to send you off.
Well, we know referees have said that.
Right.
We know referees have done that. They've gone over to players and gone, what are you doing? I've got to book you for that now, you idiot. It's same with taking your shirt off. I have got to book you now. You know, it's nonsense. But
see, I don't think they do have to book them, but you're right, because, and this is back to that, this is an inexperienced Premier League referee. He knows he ain't going to get into trouble with PG Mob for sending off Jack Grealish.
no, of course he's not.
But he might have if he hadn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And that is literally the problem, isn't it? The next day they get the scorecard. He wants to be a Premier League referee. He wants to earn £200,000 a week. He wants to get all his expenses paid. He wants to get on the UEFA list. The only way that happens is if you keep your nose clean and keep getting those points, and you end up on the UEFA list. Then you're in the way. If you're a referee, your ambition is the same as a player. You want to be in the World Cup. You want to be in the Euros. Yeah. Once you're really good, you want to be in the final. The only way they're going to do that is like exactly what you've just said there. As a fan, we go, he's a great referee because he didn't book our player. But when you're on that side, you're a great referee because you had the bottle to book Jack Grealish. You had the bottle. God, fucking hell, 50,000 people there that ground last night, and you booked and you sent Jack Grealish off. What a man. What a man.
Is it because we're all bone idle and we could go on the Premier League website right now and see these are the directives given to referees? If you brandish a yellow imaginary card, you will get booked. End of.
Yeah.
And then it's an error of the referee if he doesn't book you.
Yeah.
If you do a visible, finally the bloody referee's done something like Jack did, you will get booked. And then it's an issue if he doesn't get booked. Yeah. And we wouldn't be even talking about it. And if you pull somebody's hair, no matter how slight, no matter what the circumstances are, it is interpreted as violent conduct, and the referee has no choice but to give you a straight red.
Yeah. There's not enough transparency. There's not enough communication. People in the I tell you what's another major problem. People who work in the game, as i.e. commentators, pundits,
don't know.
Yeah. They'll scratch their heads afterwards. What we said before, they're being told stuff that we're not being told stuff, and it's not being that they think that's a. Wait, hang on. What about the 50,000 people who were at the game last night? Apart from a guy getting on a mic going, Michael Keane with final decision. Final decision.
He didn't say his name.
He is Everton's number 5. Like, that's not communication. No. That doesn't communicate anything. We've got 2 big screens. We can see it on the screen.
My final decision. Yeah. That's reasserting
what
that
we should
I've
be hearing,
made the decision.
like they do in Australia, is we should be hearing. I mean, you mightn't be able to hear it at Everton, but we want to be able to hear that that conversation he is having with the VAR. We should
do in other sports.
And I think they do it in Australia. They do
it in this country with rugby.
That's what we should be hearing.
And the on-field referee in rugby, particularly rugby league, is king.
The Six Nations, they do
cricket. We hear all the VAR. Six Nations, we hear all the VAR equivalents.
I agree.
Blah 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 blah.
Eddie on the super chat says, "I should have stayed in Bolivia." Fair play.
Do you have a nice trip, Eddie?
Yeah. Fair play. No, the whole thing is just the best. But
it's just a slight aside. We're talking about what we do and don't know.
Yeah.
I'll be the ignorant one. It was only when the RS the other day got a goal that I found out
the offside.
That are offside. There's offsides taking place in this country, in the English Premier League, which are not offside here. Would be offside everywhere else in the world.
Yeah,
because we haven't gone for absolute offside.
No, we've gone for.
And then,
but no one told us.
Well, I can't remember. What's the ESPN guy's name? The journalist, he's a good guy. I can't remember his name.
ESPN.
Baz, the ESPN.
Mark Ogden.
Probably him. Maybe him. Yeah. And he was saying, because the clubs demanded, they wanted that wriggle room.
6 did, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the clubs. So, probably. So you can be 5 inches offside, and in the Premier League, you're not offside.
But yet we've seen players who are 5 inches offside who aren't offside, who are offside.
Well, maybe they were 5 and a bit.
So it like how do no? But we've seen.
Well, they're just moving where the
we've seen
toenail has
players
to
where
be.
there's you couldn't get a piece of paper between them, and they're not and they're offside. So it's nonsense. And now that what that's done is that has created that. It's the thin end of the wedge where we used to say goal line technology, and now offside. There's nothing. It's 100%, and now people go.
Well, it's not actually.
Isn't it?
But we have talked many times on this channel, right? Particularly when and Baz was right in hope that once we get it took us ages, didn't it? Once we get semi-automated offsides, it'll all happen quicker.
Yeah.
Right? And the long debate was presumably how much, if Baz is right, the 6 wanted that wriggle room to be.
Yeah, it's
That, you know. But anyway, if it's technology, it's just a setting.
Yeah. It's
Well, and if you want to be a real conspiratorial type person, right, you can say in a game with automated offside, you could say the margin of error from the blue team is 0, the margin error for the red team is 5, and the computer will do it, and no one will ever know. Mad, isn't it?
And that's the problem. Once that gets out, then you've opened Pandora's box.
But it's
No one's going to have faith in it now.
No, that's it. It's done now. It's done. And I think they should just let AI do all of it now.
but you're still programming it. You're still programming it with
Handballs, they should let AI do handballs.
the probability that a handball has occurred is
Run
so
every
high.
single, said it before, run every single handball that's happened in the last 10 years in the Premier League into AI, and that'll spit the answer out and tell you whether it's handball or not. Job done. Job done. That's it. Takes it out of...
It won't. It'll say there's too many players around. A human being has to have a
There you
look.
go. Right, we're going...
We were rubbish. Isn't that the summary in the
We're
second half?
going. Baz and John are going to be doing the match preview for the weekend,
we? Okay.
and they're going to be doing the final words over on Toffee TV Premier. So
good, okay.
I'm going to a secret event.
Bye.